So a lot of stuff has transpired in the last 24 hours when it comes to the entire Battlefront 2 Star Wars debacle with microtransactions and EA really getting destroyed by the internet, by gamers who really were frustrated with the progression system being messed with. And then, of course, they pull back. They release a statement saying that there will be no microtransactions at this time in Battlefront 2. However, they will return at a later date. And all sources that I have seen are pointing to it still working with the progression system, as in you can still buy in and then be automatically better than a lot of people if you spend enough money. And a lot of people right now are declaring a victory in their mind. The people who are really opposed to the idea, really mad about the situation, are right now really declaring a victory. And it's very interesting to see, because while a lot of people think EA at least believes that they are in trouble in some way, EA doesn't seem to be sweating at all. And in fact, all they've done at this point is say, everything's fine. Now, something else we've learned recently is Disney absolutely had something to do with this decision happening. We talked about it earlier today on Newswave, that we had heard rumors that there was a phone call made. It seems like it went a little further than that even. There was a full written letter and everything sent to the offices of EA, and this was from different people at Disney. They specifically named Consumer Products and Interactive Media, the head of Consumer Products and Interactive Media, Jimmy Pitaro, actually sent a letter outlining Disney's concerns. Their concerns with what's going on with Battlefront 2 and the image it's kind of painting with the media, especially after CNN picked it up. That was a big problem, because while there are a lot of scattered voices on YouTube, for example, even gaming websites don't have really the impact that CNN has, because, of course, there are a lot more people who see CNN than anywhere else, that even people who wouldn't be into gaming. So that really seemed to push Disney over the edge to the point where they had to step in, put their foot down, and make a difference. Tell EA to really cut it out right now. Guys, we got to get this movie out first, okay? Then you can do whatever you want. Well, that's not actually what they said, I'm sure. It seemed like they were concerned about the brand being tainted by EA's business practices with these microtransactions. Really, it has nothing to do with Star Wars itself. A lot of people still like Star Wars outside of Battlefront 2, but it's just the fact that there are people who are being rubbed the wrong way, who feel like they were being taken advantage of by something with the Star Wars name on it, was enough for Disney to call them up, say, hey, put an end to whatever's making everyone mad right now, because the PR is just getting out of control. Here's the other good thing about mainstream media is when they find a subject that is hot right now, they will just write article after article about it. In this case, instead of CNN, CNBC, in particular CNBC.com, wrote up an entire article for their investing page all about how EA is making people at Wall Street freak out right now, because according to them, they may not reach expectations for really what was set from the first Battlefront. Now, if you don't know, EA decided to pretty much make expectations clear, according to CNBC and other places, that they were going to ship 14 million, that's right guys, 14 million Battlefront 2s by the end of March 31st. So March 31st, 2018 is the end of their fiscal year, and they were going to have shipped 14 million of these Battlefront 2 copies. Of course, in order to ship more copies, stores need to sell through their existing copies for them to make that purchase to then put more on store shelves. However, there is a serious concern right now that EA is not going to make expectations. They're going to come up short, and that's going to be an issue for investors. That's not something they want to see. But interestingly enough, EA decides to come out with a statement saying they don't expect any less than what they've put forth here. So to them, this will not affect anything. I mean, their shares even declined 2.5% on Friday, today, but it still doesn't seem to affect them. They are confident that just turning off microtransactions, because at this point, guys, look at what's happening online. People are really excited. People are now looking at Battlefront 2 in a happy light. They're very happy about it, right? There's a very happy and positive mood around this game now, which means there are going to be people who were originally mad about the situation who have now flipped and will now be happy enough to go out and purchase the game outright for $60. It's going to happen. I'm sure there's several people now who are going to be buying it, streaming it, that maybe wouldn't have before because of the microtransactions. And here's the thing. They've already said, EA DICE, they've already said it's coming back. Microtransactions are coming back. So here's the thing about EA. They probably thought, well, here's what we can do. We'll turn the microtransactions off now, and then in a month, 2 months, we'll turn them right back on, and we'll have our initial sales, and people won't really be able to do much because they've already bought our game. Sure, they can stop playing, but they already got your $60. So in EA's mind, they're in the background right now laughing about the situation because there's so many people who have now flipped from one way to the other, and they're now buying the game. I can tell you now, so many people changed sides after they turned off those microtransactions. Just look around the internet. People are declaring victory over this, and it's very interesting to see because no victory has been had here. In fact, EA wants you to believe that, so then you go buy the game. Now, I understand why people are frustrated with the Battlefront 2's microtransactions that existed. I don't really care one way or the other because it's Battlefront. People are going to buy it. I understand this. Microtransactions are going to be around in gaming no matter how much people yell about it, scream about it. I mean, look at the backlash that they got for this, and they're still putting them back in. They've told us they're putting them back in. So it seems like microtransactions are going to exist in a lot of games, and that just seems to be the way it is. Now, if they implement them correctly, I and many other gamers wouldn't care, right? If it has nothing to do with progression, it's like cosmetic, and seriously, how much they missed the boat here. How much money would people have spent just to do things like change the color of their lightsaber? Seriously, like you have to buy crystals or something, or you buy loot crates that have crystals and then let you change the color of your lightsaber once or something, you know? Like, so many little things could have been put in there that would have not affected gameplay. People would not have cared. They still would have bought like crazy, and cosmetics still sell. People still buy cosmetics like crazy because they want to change the colors of things like their lightsaber. They want to change, the colors of their X-Wing. Like, little things like that have a massive amount of sales potential, and they couldn't stay with that. They had to try to get it so that every single person would buy in, not just like 25% of people, which 25% of the online concurrent user base is still massive. The amount of money they would make from that is big. So my hope here is that they double down again on them, bring it back into progression, and then go, maybe we'll just do cosmetics. Maybe we won't deal with all this backlash again, because it'll happen. Their concurrent player count will drop heavily, and then I don't know how much people will care at that point, because there's still a lot of people who have no idea what's going on anyway, and they're just buying the game. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think this is more of a ruse on EA's part to get people just to buy anyway? Or do you think they are seriously trying to figure out how to make microtransactions work in the game alongside, well, the gameplay itself? Not ruin the gameplay by having people being able to buy in and really get every advantage in the world that they can. I'm very curious what your guys' thoughts are. Thanks so much for watching. Check us out tomorrow in the morning. We should have, hopefully, I'll have Newswave Weekend Review sometime up tomorrow. And then, of course, join us tomorrow night for Spawncast, because I'm sure this topic will come up quite a bit. It'll be a lot of fun talking about it. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.